We're back, people, and today we're betting on film on the Miami Dolphins defense versus the Steelers. They really put the team on their back in this game, which was super impressive with all the injuries they had. It was really an inspiring performance from the defense. Got to give credit to the defensive coordinator, Josh Boyer. He called a great game, and so many players played outstanding in this one, like Jalen Phillips, Jevon, Ginkel. The entire secondary stepped up and made huge plays, like Igbinoghene had the big game-winning pick. Justin Bethel had the interception, Jevon, Holland as well. A lot of big-time play from the players in the secondary and the whole defense, and they really stepped up big time in this one. This is the first big defensive play for the team. Justin Bethel's interception on the sort of seam right here. Claypool ends up falling down, which is very fortunate, but good job by Bethel. He's in good positioning right here, and he gets tangled up with Claypool and still manages to stay on his feet, which is some nice athleticism. And he sees Claypool fall, so he just gets his head around and locates the ball. He's also playing on like the outside leverage of Claypool right here, knowing he has help to the inside with Holland. And he just gets the interception. And just a huge play, so many turnovers. Probably could have had a better return, but good initial play here from Bethel. This is one of the big momentum shifts for the team. Like, they started out really hot. The offense started out really hot. The defense started out really hot. But the defense kept their momentum the entire time. They had like a couple drives where they let the Steelers drive down, but they were bending but not breaking in those scenarios, only giving them that one touchdown to George Pickens. So really good team play across the board in this one. Love that the secondary stepped up with all the injuries. Unfortunately, lost Brandon Jones in this one. Hopefully, the backup safeties can replace his production. I think they're definitely going to miss his blitzing big play ability. No safety on the roster can do that besides Brandon Jones. Holland is probably the only other one with that ability, but then that would take him away from the back end. I could see players like Fedulum making a play in the box, being a good defender versus the run, underneath zone defender. Eric Rowe can obviously man up versus tight ends. We've seen that. And then I think you might have McKinley and Elijah Campbell getting some playing time on the back end and possibly in the slot. So we'll see how that all works out. Xavien Ginkel was outstanding in this one. He was making plays all over the field, especially versus the run. He's been one of the better Dolphins run defenders for years. This is just really good football instincts. He sees the motion, the jet motion, knows that this handoff happens. He's got to set the edge. So he gets out wide. He reads this right away. He holds this outside leverage on this tight end, forces this back to the inside, and then comes off of it, and then minimizes this gain all by himself, setting the edge, stacking, shedding. Just really high-level play from AVG. He looked back to being full health because I know he was coming off that injury and wasn't fully healthy at the start of the year. I think it was like an appendix thing, right? And he looked really solid in this one. Love the run defense that he brings to this team. It was a huge stop by the Dolphins defense. 3rd and short. We got Igbinoghene making this play. Iggy made a couple big plays in this game. Obviously had the game-winning interception, and he also definitely had his struggles in this one. We'll start off with one of his better plays in this game, cover 1. Really good job switching by him. This is pretty high-level stuff that you won't see. Like, they're running cover 1 here. Everyone's man-to-man, but he gets hands on Claypool and is holding this. He feels like Claypool is just trying to pick him, trying to block him, so he gets his eyes back to the inside, sees Johnson coming to the outside, and then comes off of it right away. And this forces Pickett to sort of overthrow this, make a pretty impossible throw to catch there. Really closes this window because Bethel has to go over the top just based on the pre-snap motion. So it was a good play call by the Steelers, but Igbinoghene just blows this up by switching, coming off of this. Not something that you'll see a lot of corners do in man-to-man. It's something that the Dolphins will do at times, is switch, whether it be in man match or in their cover 0 scheme that they like to work. But really good play by Igbinoghene, holding this to a field goal, taking 4 points off the board. Dolphins were doing this all night on 1st and 10, getting a good stop, whether that be for like 1 or 2 yards or getting negative plays here. Good play by Duke Riley, reading the tight end screen, sees this the entire way. They try to get this back to the outside. Riley plays disciplined. I think Duke Riley's actually been a solid addition just for like a backup linebacker. I feel like whenever he's in the game, he's making solid plays. Linebacker is probably sort of the weakest position on the defense. Maybe not with all the defensive back injuries, but just like since the start of the season, it's just sort of the weaker part of the defense. Obviously, the front D-line edge rushers are very strong for the Dolphins, but Riley, a nice athlete on the edge, making a good tackle here. Just love the key and diagnose of the screen. Seeing the tight end work back almost like a split zone. He stays disciplined. He reads it the entire time. gains depth just in case, and then closes. So really, really nice play there from Duke Riley. This play right here, Noah in his zone gives up a big 30-yard play. Definitely not his best play in this one. But, we got to start somewhere with Noah's redemption arc in this one, telling this story that happens here. But just the Dolphins are running like an inverted cover 2 where the corner drops to be the deep half defender. That's why he's floating to the inside. Like on first view, on the broadcast view, I thought he was just, the Dolphins were playing cover 3 and he was just being the deep third. I'm like, why is he going so far to the inside? Now it makes a little more sense because Holland's rotating to be this deep half defender and Iggy is rotating to be this deep half defender. So he gets too far to the inside. He's got to know, since he's backside of the 3x1, that he doesn't have to get that far to the inside. He still has to keep his leverage here. And then Jones becomes a flat defender. He's not going to make a play on this. He has the only chance, but he just puts himself out of position. And this is where he's at his biggest struggles, is just being a zone defender. He lacks zone awareness. Definitely more of a man-to-man guy. He's very physical, usually in good position, and his biggest struggle has just always been finding the ball when being a man-to-man, and maybe getting a little too over-aggressive. Obviously, in the last 2 weeks, he's made much more plays on the ball, which is a very good sign. I still don't know if he's a full-time, I don't know if he's a starter yet. I would not make him a full-time starter. He still definitely has his issues. I don't see him playing zone really at all. But, nice to see him developing, possibly being a backup that can, be that fourth corner for the team, come in, play some man-to-man, matchup versus number 3 receivers. Obviously, in this one, he had some struggles with George Pickens, but he made up for it at the end of the game. Dolphins were pretty solid against the run the entire day. Good job, good play here by Melvin Ingram, getting back to the outside, trying to set this edge. Also some good penetration up the middle too. Just good run fits across the board, pretty much from everyone. Dolphins sort of like in their base 3-4 type of defense. You got the 0 and you got the 2-4 eyes. And Ingram is they're trying to like crack down on Ingram with the receiver, but he gets over the top. Really good play, and then gets to the tight end, which then forces this back to the inside and makes the tackle. Also good effort there by number 90. Believe that's Steele. I'm not sure exactly, but good play there by the defense across the board. Dolphins defense biggest struggle in this game, I believe, was just stopping Kenny Pickett. They did adjust later on and add a spy to him, but Pickett's a pretty underrated athlete. Coming out of there, they just would get pressure on him, and when they did get pressure, he would escape. Dolphins try to, go man-to-man here. No spy, running too deep, cover 2 man, and Baker has to take Warren coming out of the backfield. They have good coverage across the board. Everyone in good position at this point. Look at Howard at the bottom of the screen. Howard X was lights out in this game. He knows he has help over the top, so once he sees him break here, he is ready to break. Howard wanted the interception in this one, dude. He was reading routes like crazy. His anticipation was so good in this game. He was ready to jump. It might put him slightly out of position, but he knows he has help over the top. It wasn't a double move. It was just him breaking on scramble drill. But he is ready to get these interceptions. Howard's looked quite good in the last 2 games I've watched, straight up man-to-man versus good receivers. Like this one versus Pickens, Deontay Johnson, didn't matter who. He was in lockdown coverage. Right here, this is Noah giving up the touchdown to the Steelers. The only touchdown they give up in this game. But this one, it's tough to put a lot of blame on him. Obviously, you want him to make a play on the ball, but it's really just a perfect throw, a perfect play at the catch point. Pickens is a dominant contested catch receiver, and it's almost impossible to make a play. Like, he's in great position. He does a good job with active feet. He stays square, lets the receiver commit. He gets into the hip pocket. He gets in here, and he has to just play the ball, obviously. But this is perfect placement away from him. Pretty much nothing you can do. Just a perfect throw, perfect catch. So I wouldn't put too much blame on Noah on this one. Like, playing man-to-man is one of the hardest things to do in football, and he had great positioning. You just can't beat a perfect throw and a perfect catch. And obviously, he really makes up for it later in this one. After that touchdown, this is the first defensive snap. Dolphins defense always does a really good job after giving up a touchdown, coming out, stopping the run. This is where Phillips honestly really impressed me in this game. He started taking over, and the biggest thing that impressed me was his effort. He was hustling the entire game, and I love to see that. That draft for the Dolphins, where their first 3 picks were Waddle, Phillips, Holland, might go down as some of the best draft picks the Dolphins had, like in one draft. Like, honestly amazing. They get him coming unblocked here. He just shoots the gap. Great job by Phillips, sort of switching the momentum after the touchdown. Dolphins defense thrives once they stop the run on 1st and 10. If they get a negative gain or stopped at the line of scrimmage, Also, good job just constricting up here. Everyone's slanting down, and Phillips ends up coming in unblocked, makes the tackle for loss. Then they continue it to the next play, a big sack by Phillips. Got to give a lot of credit here to Zach Sealer for forcing him into Phillips. Working against a double team too, he just penetrates in here. Zach Sealer making plays every game, shoots into the A gap, just gets physical. He attacks the center, shooting to the inside so the guard isn't getting much on him, and he just throws the center off balance. Great play strength, and then it forces Pickett to try to escape the pocket. And great job by Phillips staying in his rush lane, not allowing Pickett to spin out here. This is why the Dolphins defense doesn't always unleash Phillips and let him, do whatever he wants. Even though, he's a very good finesse rusher. They like to have their rushers contain, not let QBs escape to the outside. They want people to stay in their rush lanes, and this is why you do it right here. So then the quarterback spins right into you, and you get the big time sack from Phillips. Really good play. Sealer, Phillips doing his job. Love it. Dolphins defense did a great job on 3rd and short in this game, stopping these plays. They really did a really good job on 3rd down. This one's 3rd and 3. Great coverage across the board by the defensive backs. Howard, Igbinoghene on the outside, staying in good position, on these deep fades, the go balls. They sort of pass off these inside routes. The linebackers are just sort of taking whichever way Harris comes. And once Harris comes to his side, Baker maintains his good positioning and gets downhill, makes his tackle short of the sticks, let guys come in to help. They force a punt after this. So just great job on 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, getting these stops. That's just such a huge thing if a defense can do that. And then after some offensive penalties on the next drive, they get the Steelers into 3rd and long. Everyone in good coverage across the board. Nothing's really there. They force Pickett to try to scramble. Great hustle by Andrew Van Ginkel. Also, watch Howard at the top of the screen. Howard is ready to jump everything. He knows it's 3rd and 16. They're probably going to break out the sticks. And he's just such a highly intelligent player. He knows he has help over the top. They're running cover 2 man, and he is just ready to break on this. Look at him just anticipating these routes, route recognition. Obviously, he does love to take these risks, and it can be a little risky because he'll take his eyes off the man. And since it's scramble drill, could have given up a catch, but he knows he has some help over the top. Really, the only option that Pickett has here once scrambling is to throw it to Claypool over the middle. And Bethel slightly out of position. The only really place he could have thrown it, but he probably would have been short of the sticks, and just good hustle up front from the defensive line. Everyone, Andrew Van Ginkel, great game. He's just spying. This is what they changed. They turned Van Ginkel into a spy, and he's a good enough athlete to match Pickett. Good long length. Look at him match that step for step right here. Good breakdown by Van Ginkel. He tries to stop him. Good wide base. Matches the feet, the footwork, and then shows off the speed to the edge. That's why Van Ginkel tested off the charts as an athlete. Another 3rd and short. This time it's 3rd and 1, so they're trying to run. And Clayton Fejedelem is in the game at this point for Brandon Jones. And he gets a big stop with the help of Phillips, knifing to the inside, blowing this up, constricting these run lanes. They get tight here. Phillips shoots into his gap, leaves Fejedelem coming off the edge. They try to run it to the weak side inside zone. And they just blow up this play, converge at this point. Force Harris to try to jump through, and they get a really good stop for no gain on the 3rd and 1, and then they punt it after this. So many big-time stops by the defense really changed this game in their momentum for the favor. Just really, really good stuff. Fejedelem came in and actually played and made some pretty big-time plays in this one. Dolphins in another 3rd and short situation, 3rd and 4. They know the pass is coming. X possibly could have got DPI on this one, but really good play in cover 2. They were running a lot of man-to-man on these 3rd and short situations. Deontay breaks the inside. X passes this off, gets his eyes to number 2, just following his responsibility. Sees Claypool working vertically, probably coming out to the corner. He reacts to it, stays in perfect positioning. He kind of maybe stops Claypool's momentum, but he's just letting sort of Claypool run into him. This is a pretty good rep overall from X. He doesn't get overly physical. He just gets hands-on. And then once Claypool tries to start running through him, he tries to turn around and play the football. And I think that's why the penalty doesn't get called. So good time, good play there from X in zone. Mixing up their coverages on 3rd down was a really good play call from Boyer. Fejedelem in cover 3, making a big play on the ball. They try to attack down the seam, and he's a hook curl defender. He gains good depth, shows off the athleticism to get up there, make a play at the catch point. The tight end still almost catches it off the pick, but this is the reason it gets dropped, is because he makes that play and tips it right at the catch point, throws off the concentration. Really love that he gains enough depth here. Like that the Dolphins went to Duke Riley and Fedulum as almost like dime linebackers, knowing in these obvious pass situations, getting your best athletes on the field. Fedulum, a great special teams player, and just shows off the awareness to gain the depth and just tips it just enough, forcing the incompletion. So good job by number 42. Steelers end up getting holding on this play because Pickett tries to escape the pocket. So good work up front by the defensive line, but really watch Phillips on this play. I really like this play ended up not counting because of the holding, but look at Phillips' effort, because this is 3rd and 6, and he stops him short of the line to gain. So there wasn't holding. It would have been a huge play from Phillips, putting them in 4th and short, possibly stopping them. But they get this holding. Phillips is just reading Pickett the whole time. Look at that fucking speed by Phillips. The burst, the closing speed. A guy of his size should not be able to move like this. I just love that, like, insane closing speed. And the holding, you can see the holding happen. Once QBs try to escape the pocket, you just got to go violently, and then you get the hold right here. You can see it on Ingram, also on Wilkins too. They could have called it on either, but just really, really big time play from Phillips. Then on 3rd and long, Dolphins rotate into a cover 3 buzz, and Holland ends up being the buzz defender. They kind of take a play out of the playbook of the Steelers, because Minkah Fitzpatrick, known for being one of the best deep safeties in the league, they love to have him buzz down and be like the robber on these cover 3 plays, even on cover 1 too. And I would love to see the Dolphins let Holland do this more, because right here they rotate him to single high, and Holland buzzes down. Pickett never sees it because Holland doesn't really move and come downhill right away. He's just reading Holland, and he still thinks this could possibly be a 2-deep coverage. Just takes his eyes off this and then tries to throw it to Deontay with perfect timing. He even throws this with anticipation to Deontay, and Holland just stays flat-footed, ready to read this. He's reading Pickett's eyes the whole way. It shows off a nice transition, closing burst, and then obviously the ball skills from Holland, and then gets a nice return. He's just such a good athlete too. Just a big time. I love watching Holland play. This is why I want to see him buzz more, because usually you can get your best playmaker, your best safety, ball skills working over the middle of the field. A lot of time when you have your deep safety like Holland, they can easily avoid him when he's playing deep middle of the field. But getting him down in the buzz just really takes that short intermediate part of the way of the field away and gets them more involved. And I just want to see Holland way more involved. So I love that aspect. Let McKinley, number 32, his Oregon teammate, play deep safety because he has a lot of experience doing that with Brandon Jones out now. And then let Holland buzz down, get more involved in plays. Obviously, you can bring that versatility where you switch off to disguise the defense. So love that play from Holland, and good call from Boyer. Just Phillips, again, getting pressure all day. This is late in the game. They're like 70 snaps in on defense, and Phillips just shows off that explosiveness, sets that up to the inside counter, forces the throwaway, forces Pickett to escape the pocket. Just look how explosive this first step is. And then out of this left one, just sticks that foot in the ground. The right tackle gets wide enough, and he just explodes to the inside. Amazing play from Phillips. That explosiveness that he's showing, he looks even more explosive than he has in his entire career. And he's going to be a dangerous weapon for this defense. More effort up front. They get the sack here, like a 0-yard sack, but I think this is Phillips' next half sack. Just never gives up on the play. Good coverage on the back end. Forces Pickett to drop his eyes. And just look at Phillips' effort again. Really what I want to showcase on this, he goes way past the quarterback, never gives up on the play, gets down, and then helps make this sack. Just the effort that Phillips was showing in this game was honestly like inspiring. Love to see that from him. Really, really one of the traits that I value the most is a competitive player, competitive toughness, and Phillips showed that out in this game. And here we are, the last play of the game. Igbinoghene, Noah on his redemption arc, and he gets the game-winning interception. Noah's biggest problem has always been sort of the finding the ball, making plays on ball. He's never had the greatest ball skills, always where I felt he looked the most uncomfortable in coverage outside of zone. But they forced Kenneth Pickett on a 2nd and 2 to scramble here. He should have taken all this area. He could have easily run for a first down. He just thought that he was going to throw it to the back shoulder, but Iggy is in perfect positioning for that. He has no help here either. Everyone else pretty locked up on the back end, and good job by Iggy getting his head around. That was his biggest problem, just getting your head around. He makes the game-winning pick. Honestly, I was super happy for him. I don't know how he called that incomplete at first because it wasn't even close, but just amazing play. I mean, I liked Iggy coming out of college. Never thought he was a first-round pick guy, but he did go first round, and he just never lived up to that potential. People calling him a bust. A lot of hate. Probably one of the more hated players on the team, and just loved seeing him make big-time plays these past 2 weeks, getting the game-winning interception. Just super happy for him, honestly, and just great job making up, just knowing his positioning here to turn around and locate the ball based on his positioning. Really, really good play all around from the Dolphins defense and Noah Igbinoghene. So if you guys enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.